In Castleberry. How are you, buddy?
Doing well. How about you?
Hey, not too bad. You're better, though. Nice win by Michigan. You Michigan fans are very excited. Could this be the year you beat Ohio State?
I am not going to go that far. This is just, I'm happy. I mean, it looks good right now, but, Ohio State's going to be better by the time they play in November. Michigan hopefully will be better too, but I think they've played much better than expected.
Indeed, for sure. It's kind of nice not to have the weekend Facebook meltdown with Brian Blades when Michigan's not playing up to par. So he's a happy boy, and you are as well. We'll wait and see where this one goes. All right, not too far from Ann Arbor, we go to Milwaukee, where the Brewers' Braun says he will retire after this season. He's been a Brewer his entire career. But Ian, after a promising career start for Braun, injuries took over. What should Braun's legacy be for Brewers fans?
At one point, he was one of the best players in baseball. 2007 National League Rookie of the Year. 2011 National League Most Valuable Player. At one point, as I said, one of the best hitters in baseball. But after that 2013 PED scandal, he kind of dropped off the table. So it's difficult to argue that PEDs didn't play a significant role in his production. He did have some good seasons, 30 home runs in 2016. He does have to be viewed, I think, as one of the best Brewers players in team history, a 296 average, 352 home runs. He falls just short of 2,000 hits, 216 stolen bases. But, I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Fame player because of those PED allegations. That doesn't mean he didn't have an outstanding career and that Brewers fans didn't enjoy watching him. It's a little bit ironic, I suppose, that the Brewers have had their best team success as Braun's career has declined, however.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's not a Hall of Fame career, but it's a career, I think, to be very proud of, and I think a lot of baseball major league players would love to have those career numbers at the end of the day. Staying with the Brew Crew, you mentioned, obviously, they picked it up since Braun has basically been on the sidelines. How has Milwaukee dominated the NL Central Division this season, Ian? Because there's no drama. You don't hear much about them, and it's like, here we are. They're pretty much ready to clinch, and we're getting around and talking about the Brew Crew. How have they done it this year?
Well, part of it is they play in a terrible division. The Cardinals, the Reds, and the Cubs. The Reds, and Cardinals are in the wild card race, but I think they've played far below expectations. But yeah, going into the season, I think one of the biggest things I and many other Major League observers overlooked was the Milwaukee Brewers. San Francisco Giants put in that category as well. But the thing about the Brewers is they don't have maybe that one super stud player. Like you would think, Christian Yelich, former MVP, he's having a great season, right? No, he's not. He's batting .249, 733 OPS, 8 home runs. But they have a lot of other very good hitters in their lineup. Obviously, Garcia, 27 home runs. They made maybe one of the best trades, midseason trades, getting Willie Adames, the shortstop from the Tampa Bay Rays. He's batting .294, 17 home runs, playing outstanding defense. They're getting great production from their catcher, Omar Narvaez. But really, this Milwaukee Brewers story is about pitching. Their top 3 starters are outstanding. Corbin Burnes could be National League Cy Young Award winner, .234 ERA, 221 strikeouts in 158 innings. Wow. Brandon Woodruff, .255 ERA. Freddie Peralta, .257 ERA. And even the back half of their rotation, Adrian Hauser, .343 ERA. Eric Lauer, .303 ERA. And they've always had an outstanding bullpen ever since they added Josh Hader, called him up, their outstanding closer. He's having another great season, .134 ERA, 92 strikeouts in just 54 innings. Brett Suter, Brad Boxberger, Hunter Strickland's revived his career there. So really, the Brewers' success this season has to do with pitching.
Man, it's a great story. And I guess that brings up the next question here, and then we'll move on to the Braves. But how do you think the Brew Crew will do in the postseason with the Dodgers and Giants looming?
Well, they would be matched up, Milwaukee, with the Braves right now. If everything holds with the standings, the Brewers and the Braves would face each other in the divisional series. And I think the Brewers pitching, especially not just with their starters, but into their bullpen, Craig Counsell, he's not afraid to pull his starters and to make it a bullpen game if necessary. I got to think the Brewers pitching would hold the Braves lineup in check though the Braves can explode for big runs in a game. But after that, you do have to wonder, they'll have to face possibly either the Giants or whoever wins the wild card game, the Dodgers or the Cardinals. If they have to face the Dodgers especially, I wonder, that might be too formidable a matchup in the postseason.
Yeah, as the Dodgers and Giants this season certainly seem to be for a lot of folks. All right, let's move on to the Braves. Ian Castleberry joining us on the D.C. Creasman Jewelers Wise Lines and our Major League Baseball update presented by Mike Lawrence and his staff at Happy Hill Restaurant. So, Ian, the Braves' up and down season is down at the moment. And speaking of, weak divisions, they're probably in one of the weaker ones, thank goodness. The Bravos have lost 4 in a row. They're just 2 games ahead of the Phillies. What's your confidence level for a Braves division title right now?
I think that their chances look pretty good. The end of their schedule here, I mean, they did have 3 at the Giants. That was going to be a tough matchup for them, but they're going to get better very fast with 4 against the Diamondbacks and then 3 at the Padres. And that's going to be a curious series because the Padres, I think we'll talk about this a little bit later, seem to be in free fall. Well, they are in free fall in terms of their record, but just even in terms of team morale, team chemistry, and leadership, they're having a lot of problems. And then it's going to probably come down to a 3-game series hosting the Phillies. The Braves, you want your destiny in your own hands, so to speak, and they can control this by winning 2 of 3, maybe sweeping the Phillies, and then 3 they host the Mets for 3 to end the season. I like the way the schedule closes out for the Braves here.
Oh, man, Braves fans in the audience liking that for sure, although it's nerve-wracking. There's no doubt about that, man. The Phillies just don't seem to go away. And, Ian, before we let you go, Ian Castleberry, with the Wise Guys, we got some room to move on this, Ian, so lay it out. What are a couple of storylines you're going to be following in the final 2 weeks of the regular season?
Well, I mentioned the Padres. They have been in free fall, and then over the weekend, if people missed this while football was going on, there was a big altercation in the Padres dugout. A fan who was sitting right near the dugout captured all of this on cell phone video, so this wasn't something that happened in the clubhouse or the dugout tunnel. Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis getting in a big argument. Machado is not liking Tatis' demeanor after getting down on himself after a strikeout. But apparently that some coaches have been causing problems as well. The altercation started with a coach, Bruce Dickerson, who's kind of rubbed some players the wrong way. Definitely keep an eye on the Padres. Their postseason chances seem nil right now, but I find it very hard to believe that their manager, Jace Tingler, is going to make it to next season. I think he's going to be fired after the season. He seems to have lost control of that team. They need a veteran leader as well. You might see the Padres, look to make a deal like that in the offseason. For all the talent that they've acquired, they've been such a disappointment.
Yeah, and that's real quick before you move on with another one. That argument, between 2 of your biggest stars. Is there any word from that fallout? I mean, that was a couple of days ago or a day ago. And any update on that? Are those guys cool with one another? Because they're the Padres' 2 big offensive guns.
Apparently they are. I mean, the Padres have gone into media blackout mode. They didn't let Tatis or Machado talk to the media. I think this is an attempt really of Machado to kind of be that leader that we talked about that the Padres need. But he's not always the best in terms of demeanor and attitude. He's a hothead himself many times. So he might not be the right guy for that, but I think he was trying to take that onto himself and kind of settle Fernando Tatis down a little bit. But, I don't know how you settle a guy down while you're screaming in his face either.
Yeah, no kidding on that. All right. Yeah, the Padres, that's been a real disappointment. We figured they were in for the playoffs. And, when you're a manager, and I think, is this his first managerial job, Ian?
It is. He had no managerial experience before this. Kind of a real surprising hire by the general manager, A.J. Preller. They fired Andy Green, supposedly because he didn't have enough major league experience dealing with major league ball players, and then they go and hire somebody who has even less experience in terms of coaching at the major league level. So you might see that the Padres take a swing in the other direction, bring in a veteran manager. There are a lot out there. That's not quite the way it goes in Major League Baseball now, but you wonder if, say, a Buck Showalter, for instance, somebody who's a really veteran manager who knows how to handle a roster and a clubhouse, who's worked with Manny Machado for many years, for instance, if he could be somebody in the mix for the Padres job.
Oh man, we'll wait and see, because when you're a rookie like that, I don't think there's not as much patience, especially when you're a rookie manager and you've got all that talent on a team that was expected to be in the playoffs. Ian Castleberry with the Wise Guys, presented by Happy Hill Restaurant. What else you got, Ian, on that?
I'm looking at that American League East, not the division. The Rays have that sewn up, but you have a three-way race here between the Red Sox, the Jays, and the Yankees. It looks like the Jays could win out there. Right now, it's the Red Sox and the Jays. If things ended now, they would be the two wild card teams. The Yankees, really one of the big disappointments of the season. Not as disappointing as the San Diego Padres, but a disappointment nonetheless. And can the Oakland Athletics break up that threesome for that last AL wildcard spot? They're two behind, but they have to deal with both the Jays and the Yankees if they're going to get a wildcard spot. So that AL East is the place to look, I think, in these last 2 weeks of the season.
Check that out. Oh, by the way, before I let you go, now, if you had to cast your vote today, speaking of, for the American League MVP, would your vote go for Ohtani or Vlad Jr.?
Vlad Jr.'s numbers are outstanding. 46 home runs. He leads the majors in hits. But, I mean, we got to reward Shohei Ohtani for this unicorn season that he's having. I mean, we've never seen anything like this. 44 home runs. He's been the talk of baseball in a season where baseball has not attracted very many headlines nationally. Shohei Ohtani has been one of the guys who's done so. He was, the face, the star of the All-Star game. But also pitching, 9-2, 3.28 ERA, 146 strikeouts, and 123 innings. He might be shut down in terms of pitching for the final 2 weeks of the season. He's getting some arm soreness, although he did have an outstanding start yesterday when it looked like he might get shut down. But, I mean, we've never seen anything like this. We've heard stories about Babe Ruth. Here we are seeing it, a guy who is a 40 home run slugger, a top of the rotation starter, Shohei Ohtani. I know some voters are going to give it to Vlad because the Blue Jays have a winning record and they're in the postseason race. But even though the Angels have been disappointing, I don't see how you can overlook just this amazing, spectacular season by Shohei Ohtani.
Agreed. I love Vlad Jr. a lot, but until he pitches a complete game, I'm going to give it to Ohtani for sure. Hey, man, Ian, appreciate you as always. And remember to follow Ian at thecomeback.com, also awfulannouncing.com, and follow both on Facebook. One of our favorites, very talented guy. Ian, thank you so much, my friend.
Hey, thank you, Pat. And on behalf of all Detroit Lions fans, I apologize for being on Monday Night Football tonight.
Yeah, we'll take that up for sure, buddy. But thank you. Apology accepted.
Sorry, guys.
You got it, man. Be well, Ian. Thanks, man. Thanks to Ian Castleberry, and thanks to Happy Hill Restaurant for allowing Ian to play with us. We appreciate him, as always.